Hey everyone, I've recently listened to Everything is Bad by Mark Manson, a book about psychology, philosophy, and hope. So if you're interested by these subjects, keep watching and I'll be sure to try to tell you about it in the shortest and most concise way possible. I'll also be rating the book at a scale from 1 to 100 at the ending of the video. Let's begin. The book is split into two parts, which are split into 9 chapters. For that reason, I've rated each chapter on a scale from 1 to 11, except for the 9th chapter, which is rated from 1 to 12, in order to reach a total score of 100 at the ending of the video. Part 1. Hope. Chapter number 1. The Uncomfortable Truth. This chapter is about the fact that life has no objective meaning, and despite that fact, that life is a total abyss, there is still a significance to hope, as hope is the basis for our psychological well-being. On the contrary, the lack of hope is the basis for all psychological illness. I've rated this chapter a 6 out of 11 because Mark presents it in a pretty original way, but those concepts are still pretty old and I didn't quite learn a lot new in it. Chapter 2. Self-control is an illusion. This chapter is about the balance between our emotional brain and our logical brain, and how we should treat that balance. So I've rated this chapter an 11 out of 11, because I found its concepts moving, I've never heard them before, and they've managed to shift the basic paradigm that I had, that logic is above emotion, and that every emotion can be controlled by logic. Chapter 3. Newton's Laws of Emotion. This is about how we acquire values, why we acquire certain values on top of others, and how the fact that we acquire values makes us automatically believe that there are bad, opposing values, and that there are people who possess those bad, opposing values, and therefore are sort of our enemies. I've rated this chapter a 6 out of 11 because there are psychological facts in there that are potential to improve, but still I didn't really understand the applications of it. Chapter number 4. How to make all your dreams come true. Inside this chapter it is explained how to create your own religion with followers that will do anything you want. In his sarcastic way, Mark is trying to explain how we join certain communities, how the communities operate, and what kind of crisis does it require for us to move from one community to another. I rated this chapter a 6 out of 11 as well because it has ideas that raise my awareness, but still the applications are not totally clear, just as the previous chapter. Chapter 5. Hope is bad. In the previous chapters, it's been explained that as humans we have certain values, and that fact makes us have automatically opposing values that become our enemy values, and eventually that contradiction leads to war, sooner or later. Nietzsche has been concentrating on solving exactly that problem. He has said that we humans are a bridge from animal to Superman. Inside this chapter he discusses those ideas. I've rated this chapter a 9 out of 11 because I believe that it has been very interesting and made my imagination roll and made me imagine certain things about humans, but still the application is not really clear. Though he does provide a sort of a half answer to this question. Part number 2. Everything is bad. Chapter 6. The Formula of Humanity. It begins with explaining about the life of Immanuel Kant, one of the greatest philosophers that existed. Immanuel Kant tries to solve the same problems that Nietzsche does, but he has a different solution. A solution that is quite detailed. He says that we should acquire adult qualities, and those are also explained in this chapter. There are 3 steps to our psychological maturity, and those are child, adolescent, and adult. And I would rate this chapter as an 11 out of 11 because inside it is really explained how we could change humanity to the better if we were to understand those principles. Even though it would take some time to sink inside me, but it is clearly explained inside this chapter. Chapter 7. Pain is the universal constant. It's explained why pain is the only way to growth. It's supported by 3 or 4, something like this, researchers on psychology and philosophy, and it is explained inside the chapter why we shouldn't chase happiness and instead we should look to improve our pain and continue growing. I rated this chapter again an 11 out of 11 because it is really important to understand those principles, and the sooner we understand it, the less we will suffer, because the only way to have better pain is to accept the pain. Chapter 8. The Feelings Economy. At first, there was only one type of products, the improvement type. It was supposed to help us improve upon pains. And the 1920s marketing revolution brought a new type of products, a diversion type of products that includes TV, sports, and movies. Those products are called diversion products. In this chapter, Mark tries to explain that overindulgence in those products would lead us to a bad situation as a society and as individuals. He explains it in a very good way, and I really support those claims and I believe in them, and therefore I rated this 11 out of 11 because if you will make an impact on society and on people on this aspect, that would be great. Chapter 9. The Final Religion. Because our human nature is so flawed, it is inevitable that we would have to go through some change, or maybe something else will take our place. In the case of Mark, he believes that this will be AI. Inside this chapter, he summarizes all his hopes for the future and his complete picture of how he would like the world to look. And I find this very inspiring, and therefore I've rated this chapter a 12 out of 12. Although I don't see eye to eye with Mark in the fact that he wants AI to take over, but I do find it very inspiring the way he presented it. The final rating of the book is an 83 out of 100. I did find few implications in this book, and that's great for a book. The chapters in which I didn't find implications I still found interesting, and maybe the conclusions will drop later, who knows. Those are quite difficult concepts to swallow. If you would like to see more information about the book, you could check out the blog post. There are more elaborations inside there. In the description below, there is also a link to the book purchase and a link to the Audible free trial with which you could get the audiobook for free. And that's it. Please comment and let me know what you thought of the video, and like if you liked the video, and subscribe if you would like to see other videos like that. Bye bye, thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.